Morning. Today is Tuesday. It is the 9th day of Elul, and we continued in the letter 12, chapter 12 of Igeret Hakodesh, the letters of the Alter Rebbe. So we learned yesterday about the Alter Rebbe explains the verse that talks about the Maaseh Tzedakah Shalom action of the action of tzedakah will bring peace. And there is the service of tzedakah that brings hashkeit vavetach, quietness and surety, and is going to explain the differences between all of this. And he began by explaining, first of all, what is peace. And he is talking about the peace and it says, Oseh shalom b'mramav, hu yaseh shalom aleinu. The one who makes a peace up high in his places, the Hebrew will make peace by us. And he explained that peace on high means that there are different angels that they represent different attributes of God. The angel of Michael represents kindness. The angel Gabriel represents severity. And we need to make peace between them. That is, it says that in order to bring peace, what do we want to do? We want to reveal in them a deeper, a higher level of energy, the godly energy, the revealed godly energy that makes them, both of them, unite. And we gave an example, like two ministers of a king. There's the finance minister, let's say, has his interest taking care of the economy. And there is the health minister, for example, as his interest is to make sure to spend money for health, that people in the country should be healthy. And sometimes their agendas conflict. Each one they have their own agenda. But in presence of the king, they are both united. And in a sense, they're nullified. So this is, in order to bring peace, you need to have a higher source of energy. And this is true in every area. It is true also between relationships between people. We all have our agenda. And when it comes to certain situations, we go above our agenda. When a couple, for example, each one they have their own thing, what they want to do. But then there are certain things that they're both united because it's not about them, it's about something higher. It's about their children, something which is higher than both of them. And so the Alter Rebbe goes to explain that this is in order to bring this godly energy, which is higher than the chesed, the kindness, and the gvura, the severity. This brings about softening and sweetening the severity. When this energy is revealed, it sweetens the severity. It makes everything in a revealed way that it should be good. And Alter Rebbe continues in today's class, explaining how do we bring about this revelation, this godly revelation, that brings peace, the higher godly revelation. And it's going to explain that it's done through, one of the ways is through the tzedakah. It is done through studying Torah lishma, studying Torah for its own sake. So let's look inside We're going to see inside how the Alter Rebbe says this. Says the Alter Rebbe, "V'hinei isarusa de leile le'oirer gilui ha'ora rabba v'hashpor atzumu anizkeres le'eil me'oir ein soif baruch hu." Says this the arousal from above that elicits a manifestation of this great illumination, an immense diffusion from the infinite Ein Sof light. Lasso is shalom and iskal to bring peace, in order to bring about the above mentioned peace. So in order to bring this peace, we said we need a higher light. How do we bring it about? He be sarusa de lasata. This is affected by an arousal from below. How is the arousal from below? By the act of charity, and by the benevolent bestowal of one man to another, of life, graciousness, kindness, and compassion. When you give tzedakah, it's a big mitzvah, but there's different ways of giving tzedakah. You can give tzedakah and you say, yeah, okay, go, with a very cold face. Then there is hashpas. You give chaim, chen, chesed, kindness, compassion, and graciousness. You make the person feel good. Don't make him feel like a loser because he has to ask tzedakah. Hashem put him in this situation. Give him words of encouragement along with giving the tzedakah. Do it with a smiling face, not with in a way that you don't want to do it. When one does tzedakah that way, to whom? Leman de leis le'migamei klum. To he who has nothing of his own. And thereby to revive the spirit of the lowly and to revive the heart of the downcast. So this enables the giving tzedakah. Like this triggers the level of the godly energy to come upon, that godly energy that gives to us in that way. And Alter Rebbe continues now to explain. In order to purify this low world, how is it done? So in Hasidus explains that there are two ways of doing this. One way is called milemayla lemata, and one way is milamata lemayla. Is doing it from the bottom up and from the top down. What does it mean? You can deal with each individual characteristics that we have, attributes, and make sure that whatever characteristics we have, we change them into a positive thing, and dealing one by one. Now, for example, when a person has the concept of love, you can love good things, positive things. Love Hashem, love your wife, love your children. Then it's a positive thing. But the same attribute of love, this emotion can be used in a wrong way. And so one way of dealing with it is just by working on our emotions and our attributes to change them and to elevate them into a better place, and to use them out in a positive place. And the same thing is with every emotion and every characteristic that we have. Fear, what are you afraid of? You can be afraid of what's going to be. You don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. Or you can be afraid of Hashem, meaning fear and awe, deep awe of Hashem. Every characteristic can be worked on. from the bottom up. And then there is another way of refining this, is going from the top down. The top down means that there is a godly revelation upon you, and automatically it lifts up and elevates all the small things. For example, when a person has person is stingy, let's say, doesn't want to give money. One way is working on himself to make sure that, yes, I'm doing against my will, and I go and I do whatever I want to, whatever characteristic I have, I'm working on it to improve it. But sometimes there is a situation that a person, for example, when he's marrying off a child, and you become so happy and so open, and automatically the people that you didn't want to talk to, all of a sudden you're going to talk to them, you're going to hug them, and you're going to share, if you're stingy, you're going to give, opens you up. There is something which came from above that elevated your characteristics. Since the Alter Rebbe is going to say now that this is one of the ways what we are doing now through giving tzedakah and through studying Torah, lishma, for the sake of Torah. By doing so, we reveal within ourselves the godly energy coming down and allowing to elevate us from above. So let's continue inside. The Alter Rebbe u'meidah zois, ma she'omru Razal, ala oiseg b'Torah lishma. It is well known that our sages of blessed memory said of a person who engages in the study of Torah for its own sake. It says, Meisim shalom b'famalya shel maila u'b'famalya shel mata. And he makes peace within the heavenly. Famalya is the retinue, or within the terrestrial retinue, meaning there is in the higher level and there is the lower level. There is peace that you need to bring up high between the attributes that we said before. Over there, they're all good. They're all holiness. However, they have different missions. They have different attributes that express different attributes of Hashem. And that you making peace between them up there means revealing even a higher level that combines them both and has the kind side to overpower the severity. So Famalya shel Mailo Asorim v'Midas and Iskaros Leil. So the Famalya of above, this is the ministers and the motive attributes that we mentioned before. Sheinei Chalais Elyonim ba'olam habriya b'Igeret Hakodesh. These are the supernal eichalot, the chambers of the world of Beria that is mentioned in the Zohar. Ufamaya shel mata eichalos hatachtonim. Now the lower level is the chambers of the lower worlds, or bifrat, and especially olam hazeh hashafel. That we have this, especially this lowly world. This lowly world also has a real conflict. Ever since the sin of Adam, there is the mixture of the good and the bad. The good and the evil are mingled together. And the evil rules over the good. As it is written, while man rules over man, meaning the man of the wickedness, representing the forces of Kalipa, the evil, rules over the man of holiness and harms him too, as the verse concludes, it is also written, a nation will overpower nations. This is about the Rivka, when she had the twins, and she didn't understand what's going on, were running two different directions, and she was told by God that what it means, there's two forces, two people, two children, each one drags to another direction. And this represents the good inclination and the evil inclination that there is in each and every one. And there's a constant struggle. Sometimes we win, the good side wins. Sometimes the evil side wins. And we have to never give up. We always keep fighting that fight. Says this is seen in terrestrial man, who is called a microcosm. Oilam katan, small world. Sometimes the good within him prevails, and sometimes reverse, heaven forbid. So now we have to make peace between the good and the evil. How do you make peace between the good and the evil? It's not by appeasing the evil. On the contrary. The only way of making peace is strengthening the good. Says the Alter Rebbe, "Ve'ein shalom ba'olam ades kates." Therefore, there will be no peace in the world until the ultimate time, meaning the time when Mashiach comes. Then the evil will cease to exist. How? So he says, "She'izbarer atoiv me'ora," when the good shall be refined from the evil. Lidavek b'sharoshe mekoira chaim ba'ochum, in order to cleave to its root, the source, the divine source of life. So what happens then? When you refine and when you elevate, what is a refine? What does it mean to refine? Just like a refinery. Refine the gold, the silver from the dirt. And when you elevate that gold and you elevate that good from the outside, you separate and you realize what is the good, then the evil will not be able to exist. They only exist because they nourish from the good side. At that time, all evildoers shall be scattered, and the spirit of the impurity shall pass from the earth. When the element of the good which sustains it will be extracted from its midst. So this, basically what happens is that the source of life that the evil has will be removed, and you disconnect them from the plug, you unplug the evil, and that's when it disappears. This refinement itself of the good from the evil will also take place through a manifestation of the divinity below. And this is what we said, that comes from above down, which means with a great illumination and immense effusion. As it says in the verse, for the earth shall be filled with the knowledge of Hashem. And the glory of God shall be revealed. Now this is as regards the future of the world in general. That when Mashiach comes, that's what's going to happen. That the goodness will prevail, the evil will disappear, and it happens both through the doing from below and mainly also from the revelation from above. However, says the Alter Rebbe, even before the coming of Mashiach, we also have an ability to do something of that sort. A little bit of the refinement an elevation of the good. Says the Alter Rebbe, but as regards to the terrestrial man, bechol eis mitzvah, at every time of finding, meaning every propitious time for finding God, any opportunity that we have to be able to connect to God, which is mainly zu tefillah, meaning prayer, or at other times designated for secluding oneself with its maker, with Hashem. So kol echad lefi ma'asav zoicha leme'ein birur zeh. Every individual, according to his deeds, is granted a foretaste of this refinement. By engaging in the study of Torah for its own sake. What does it mean, studying of Torah for its own sake? When you study Torah, not because you want to be smart, not because you want to gain rewards, and certainly not because you want people to honor you. And you know Torah, that is definitely in the wrong way. Lashma means to study the Torah for the sake of the Torah. This is God's Torah, just to connect to Hashem. So when a person studies Torah, Lishma, for its own sake, and acts accordingly, then he is able to have a little bit of that type of refinement, meaning being elevated from the other side. And similarly, says Alter Rebbe, also v'chein al yedei tzedakah. And the same is also accomplished by means of charity. As it is related in the Talmud, Rabbi Elazar yoiv pruta la'oni v'oda matzle. Rabbi Elazar would give a coin to a poor man, and then he would pray. For it is written, through tzedek will I behold your countenance. Through tzedek. Tzedek is righteousness, justice. I will behold your countenance, meaning I will see your inside. Panecha, panim is the face, means also the interior. Just like a face. In the face, you can see the interior of the person. So when it comes to pray and you give tzedakah, you're able to connect to Hashem and to see the interior, meaning having a deeper effect in you from the prayer. And what happens through such a prayer? It says, this revelation during prayer is a manifest illumination and a fusion of the knowledge and understanding. The greatness and the knowledge and understanding of Hashem, enabling one to meditate on the greatness of Hashem, in order to beget thereby the intellectually generated awe and love. As it is now, as I mentioned yesterday, that the love and the feeling, the emotions are resulted from our intellect. And when you have a deeper, higher intellect in the greatness of Hashem, you're able to beget and have more of a feelings towards Hashem. And through this, the good is extracted. The good is extracted separated from the evil. Is extracted for God and elevated to Him. As it is written, there's a verse in the Proverbs that says, Matzreif lakesef, v'kur lazav, ve'ish lefi mahalalai. It says, Matzreif lakesef. The crucible is for refining silver. V'kur lazav, and the melting pot is for gold. Ve'ish lefi mahalalai, and man is refined according to his praise. What does this Proverbs mean? So the Alter Rebbe explains, mahalalai is praise, refers to the praising of God. that when a person praises God in the high level, then his praise of God becomes like a refinery and like a melting pot. Just like the refinery for the silver, the melting pot for the gold purifies in the silver and brings out the silver, the pure silver, the pure gold, and same thing also the praising of Hashem, the praying of Hashem with the proper preparation, as we said with the tzedakah, enables the person to bring out the good side. It says Pirush Lefi Lules Hashem Ba'imek Adat. This means according to his praise of God during prayer with profound knowledge, Lahoylid Dechilu Rechimu, in order to beget awe and love. Kacha Nivra Ratoi V'Nifradara. In this way, the good is extracted and the evil is separated. Kebiru V'Sfiru Dasigi Mikesa V'Zov V'Matzrev V'Kor. Just as the dross is separated from silver and gold in a crucible or a melting pot. So here, this is what the Alter Rebbe explains, that through the giving of the tzedakah enables us to reach the higher level, bringing the higher godly revelation in us, and that in turn enables us to serve as a refinery and to refine the good part of us, refine the love that we have. It should be turned to love of Hashem, the fear to Hashem, and so to our other emotions and characteristics. And that enables us to separate the good from the evil. And that we have a little tiny redemption living a Mashiach life. What is Mashiach life? Mashiach life is when the world will be like that. And the Rebbe says we need to live Mashiach right now. It means we have an opportunity to live a Mashiach life, to separate the good from the evil, at least a little bit, and even if it's only temporary. But slowly but surely, it accumulates. So this is the end of today's shir. Thank you all for joining today. And we'll see you tomorrow, B'ezrat Hashem, as well, 9 a.m. Please make sure to subscribe, to share this, and to invite some friends to join us. And any questions we can take now.